Alrighty, before I get started with this review, I have one question for you. Somebody please tell me in the comments what this song is. It's been driving me nuts, and I've been trying to find it and then getting stuck listening to a bunch of nostalgic fairy tale OSTs that make me cry. Tell me what this song is. And apart from that, let's get started. So I have a lot of good things to say about this episode, and really only one complaint, which is pretty good. It's a lot better than what I've been told to expect from this series as of late. So yeah, here's the good stuff and the one bad thing. So the good things, Gray's attack against Zeref basically went exactly how I expected. Natsu stopped him, but we did get a bit of him being talked to by Ultir. We also got Natsu stopping him and just setting everything on fire and causing steam to blow out of the building, which is part of where I wanted to know where this song came from. It was when I saw the music start playing when that started. And I remember that it was from Zeref, or not Zeref, Larcade fighting Sting.
Wondered where you were.
That's why I got frustrated and want to know what that song is. So again, comments, tell me, let me know, please. Either way, that basically went the way I expected, which is fine, because if I'm expecting it, I'm not actually really disappointed. It just means that the writing for the show is fairly predictable, which in its own way isn't a great thing, but it's tolerable, so I can manage. Besides, what it leads into is probably one of the most sort of heart-wrenching emotional scenes we've actually seen with Natsu in a very long time, and I love it. We see Natsu actually break down, and I say I love it because we haven't seen it in a long time. We've seen that, of course, with Natsu as he is, he says, I stopped you on the island from doing that spell. I'm never going to let you cast that spell. And Gray's having his own little, pity party, telling him about, like, all these things I did, I tried to kill you. The guild doesn't need somebody like me. But Natsu he says he's the same, which in a way is kind of true. I think they're taking some liberties there, but whatever. But hearing both the dub, and yes, I went and watched the sub, and the performance from both actors just sucks you in. The emotion is just amazing. It makes you feel for this character. And while from a writing perspective, it is frustrating that they didn't go through with killing Gray or having him cast this spell and having Natsu have to deal with that. While they didn't pull through with that, which I never expected them to, this is equally as satisfying of a result to see this emotional reconciliation with the characters, to see them both realize their faults, realize both of them were in the wrong, and making up as a result. I love it. And we also then get the lead into the fight, sort of, between Natsu and Zeref. And it's pretty good. And we actually see, like, battle mode Zeref, which is pretty cool. Like, his eyes do the, no texture, no anything, just dots with circles and then gray. And it's really cool to see that design with the character's eyes. It's not something I think we've seen actually played into too often. Like, we've seen it a lot in these last few seasons, or these last episodes of the season, but it's definitely been a whole other thing. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the way it looks. And on top of that, we actually see how powerful Zeref is, which we already kind of knew, and how powerful Natsu is, which we knew, but we haven't seen it played into too much with him fighting Zeref. We saw the initial fight, but he had a bit of a boost with Igneal's power, which they reference back to, and Happy sort of feels guilty because he realizes that by pulling Natsu away in the middle of that fight, he sort of dashed Natsu's chances of defeating Zeref, even though I don't think that's 100% true. I'm pretty sure Natsu still stands a chance, but I think that's just because Natsu is Natsu, and that's the way the story's written. Otherwise, though, I was genuinely impressed with the cojones of them actually going after all of these different elements that we kind of had a lead up to in the beginning of basically all of last episode. We had a lead into fights that were going to happen, and now we're getting a lot of payoff, and I was not expecting all of these payoffs to start happening right at once. And technically one is sort of a payoff, but there's a lot more that's going to happen on top of that. Anyway, we've got Natsu v Zeref, and we see them trade quite a few blows, and the lead up to that was actually the most Dragon Ball that I've seen out of this series in quite a while, of a lot of delay, a lot of characters staring at the action as it's about to happen, followed by the action. So it was actually kind of funny to see them really go, well, full Dragon Ball with it, but whatever, I'll take it, I love it. Next. The fight is interrupted by a massive amount of flying magic power. I wonder who that could be. So yeah, now that massive ball of magic power flying towards, well, the group is Agnologia. He shows up, he lands in front of Wendy and Urza, and gets to see face to face, or rather body to living thing, the mother of Dragon Slayers dead. And that was kind of dark what he did. So he basically just proceeds to stomp her into the ground. That was probably one of the more visceral things that was implied in this entire series. We've seen some pretty nasty implied things happen throughout the series, but like a sick monster of a character stomping a dead person into the ground, that's up there, and hopefully by describing what was implied, I'm not going to get this video demonetized. So yeah, that was something. And it's at this point that Zeref realizes that playtime's over. August realizes that he really doesn't have much time left to get, well, none of them have time left to get the job done that they came there to get done, because they came there to get Fairy Heart to take out Agnologia, but not really going to happen if, well, Universe 1 was reversed, which means that Agnologia is back. And I just realized that. After watching that entire episode, I just realized that that's why Agnologia was able to make it back, was because the whole point of Irene casting Universe 1 to begin with was to actually put some great distance between Agnologia and the group. So yeah, playtime's over between Natsu and Zeref, which kind of sucks because I wish that fight would have gone on a little longer. For this episode, though, I think it's going to go on a bit longer in this episode, or in the next episode, so I guess we'll see. Then we get the August, Gildarts, and Kana fight, and this is my sort of one issue. I guess I could technically say I have two issues with the episode. One, though, is story-driven, and that's where the good and bad things mainly derive from in my book. So yeah, the Gildarts and Kana versus August fight, and I don't mind it. The fight itself was not great, because it was sort of picking up as if it's been going on for a while, which it has, but we have Kana sort of exchanging dialogue with August. We have a lot of stuff kind of going on dialogue-wise, and that's actually where I have a lot of problems. I know a lot of people who watch the sub, who are purists, are going to tell me, well, yeah, duh, of course it's this way. You don't know anything because you only watch the dub. Shut up and listen to me for a minute. So I was not a big fan of this delivery of these lines. Like, I have no problem with the actors that they use, and in fact, I have heard way better from this very actor from shows, well, I mean, like Dragon Maid, and this very show, Fairy Tail. This actress who plays Kana is very talented, but this emotional line delivery, especially when put right up against Todd Haberkorn's, Jamie Marchi's line delivery in this very emotional moment does not feel nearly as genuine and well done as Todd Haberkorn's does when Natsu has his major emotional moment in this episode. And it kind of pulled me out of the episode a little bit, because while it was awesome to see her use fairy glitter and take an attack that seemed to actually do quite a lot, even though it didn't actually do anything to August, the whole thing just felt kind of undermined by the line delivery. And I went and watched the subbed version, and the line delivery was significantly better. In fact, it was similar in a lot of ways with the inflections and the way that the emotion was brought forward. It's just that the emotion from the Japanese actress who plays Kana sounded significantly more genuine than the emotion brought forward by the English actress. That's just my opinion, but knowing what I know about voice acting and knowing how a lot of these things go, I just feel like this was probably not the best take to use for that whole long line delivery. But who knows? Maybe she didn't have enough time in the booth because she's too busy getting sued by Vic Mignogna. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. So getting into a part of dialogue that we get in this episode, I am fairly certain that Larcade is actually not the son of Zeref. I think he is something else, especially considering that well, Sting was saying he smells exactly like Natsu, which makes me wonder if he is also some sort of thing, one of the demons made by Zeref, similar to Natsu. I'm wondering if that's sort of what it is, if he's like Zeref's first attempt to make an Aetherius like Natsu. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I'm thinking that might be the case, because if they smell identical, that's the only thing I could think would cause that. And the other thing that makes me think that is because I'm thinking, well, it's basically been spelled out at this point, August is Zeref's son, period. I think that's the case because we see a lot of stuff implied in the ending. Yes, the ending spoils things. I'm sorry, don't yell at me. But that is pretty much where things seem to be sitting right now. Where, yeah, August is definitely the son of Zeref. And presumably, considering we saw Precht carrying a basket, I am thinking that he is the son of Zeref and Mavis. And having had the zooming into Mavis saying that the only person who can defeat the son of the Dark Lord is his mother, I'm thinking that he was talking about himself and talking about Mavis. That's my guess, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be right on this one just because I've seen how these shows are written, and I'm used to it. So I'm guessing because I'm pretty certain they're following their methods. Either way, though, this episode as a whole was actually pretty good. I genuinely enjoyed a lot of the fighting. I love the tension that has been now set in place by the fact that two of our main characters are actually like face to face with somebody who could kill them with a flick of a finger. I love the fact that we now have Zeref walking towards Natsu, but that's all we got out of the fight by the end, so we don't know what is actually going to happen by the end. I love the fact that we now have August trying to pull anger out of Gildarts to see how far his bond to see how far the bond between he and Kana can go to give him an incentive to fight. I love every bit of that, and I'm really hoping that continues into next episode. But here's one last thing that drives me insane about this episode, and it's the last tiny little second of the episode. It was like such a small thing, and it immediately just ruined the last bit of the episode. We have August asking Gildarts how he would feel if his child was killed in front of him, and it is a massive anger spark that is going to really push Gildarts to fight harder. And then this happens. They start playing the upbeat, happy ending music while Gildarts is getting angry. You don't do that. Like, I feel like they didn't animate far enough back that they have animation going on when the music starts. I feel like if they were to just start with the ending and have it playing like it normally would, there would literally be a black screen. Like, they didn't animate the beginning section, so every time they start playing the music, it has to overlap with whatever's happening in the episode. But the upbeat music at the end does not in any way match the tone that they were playing it over. And I hate it. I hate it so much. They needed to not do that. They needed to just have the main OST, the actual energy, angry rock going on, not this crap. That was really my biggest complaint with the ending, was the fact that, like, I get that at the ending it's like, oh, upbeat music, it's all a show, we can relax now, yay, I get that. But this just didn't do it for me, and it drives me insane. Either way, like, that I don't like. I liked the rest of the episode. I think that if they continue with this pattern, I think we'll have a fairly satisfying ending. I hope. God, I hope. But I do think that this episode was a pretty strong one. We're not getting anything crazy, but we're not getting anything disappointing. So I'm happy with the outcome. I want to see more of it. I'm really excited to see where all these little tiny setup things are going to be going. And apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as well. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the links down in the description where you can watch this episode legally. Please, please, I beg of you, watch it legally. And otherwise, that's about it. Thanks again for watching, guys. Like, subscribe. We might be over 34K at this point. I don't know, because this is happening way after I'm already done recording this episode. So yeah, if we're over 34K, thank you. If we're not, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, actually, so you can be notified. And otherwise, see you guys in the next episode. Make sure to be there and have a good one.